Hey everyone, Tony Boffer here from Bilzar, and I'm here to talk about PPC. And I have a presentation that we have put together, and let's start. Let's have a look. So this is our latest idea on PPC. Let me hide this. And what we're all about. So sponsored ads or PPC, pay-per-click advertising, is a very, very important part of your business. And we'll explain why in this presentation. First of all, a little bit about me. That's some of my background, 35 years in chemistry, teaching, sales and marketing, tertiary qualified in those areas. I've been selling on Amazon since 3 years now, 2016. We recently sold Amazon this year for 6 figures, have managed over 60 seller accounts myself personally since taking on Bilzar, with total revenue around 50 million, and currently still running some partner accounts with 3 7-figure companies. Bilzar itself, we can watch the video. I'm not going to play the video now, but it's on our website. Established a couple of years ago as an Amazon seller and wholesaler. We actually did try wholesaling for about 6 months. Not successful, very tough business, so competitive, and a race to the bottom, so we didn't like the wholesale model. Some people have made millions out of wholesale, but not for us. Anyway, so we moved on to back to private label, which was our strength because we were selling private label FBA on Amazon. So we started managing basically a few of our own accounts and friends' accounts, actually. So we started doing that as a favor and then as a percentage of sales and so on. But we gradually grew and we took on more staff. And as we took on specialists that were either ex-Amazon employees or current Amazon employees, we were able to do account management, PPC management as well. We took on the Sean Smith course, the wonderful Sean Smith PPC AMS Accelerator course. And we have social media management. We now have about 25 staff and we manage over 30 accounts. We also have other specialties that we do, like hijacker removal, account reinstatement, and so on. We have a whole list of services, but that's not what we're talking about. Here we're talking about PPC. All right. So it's the biggest avoidable expense on Amazon. What I mean by that is definitely, of course, the most expensive thing about Amazon is buying the product and Amazon fees, which you cannot avoid. But PPC is avoidable in the sense that if you do it well, you can save a lot of money. If you do it badly, you can waste a lot of money. And what we talk about here is it is a great thing on Amazon because it actually does boost your organic ranking as well. Most of you know that, but in case you didn't know, the beauty of having PPC ads and getting sales from PPC ads or sponsored ads is that it will boost your organic ranking as well. We always say never turn off PPC, all right? So in other words, if you run a campaign, if it's running really, really poorly, yeah, of course, after a while, we give it at least a month, but never really run them off. Maybe turn them down, turn to a dollar budget or something. But generally, we don't turn off campaigns. The history they gain is valuable, and Amazon recognizes the history that you've actually picked up, and will help with your algorithm, with the Amazon algorithm, based on the history of the campaign. Product choice is massive. It's everything. It's absolutely massive. So the choices you make with regard to the product are very, very important. I'll get to that later. And there are dangerous categories. And what I mean by dangerous is that they're just very expensive with PPC bids and so on because they are so competitive. The bids are so high. We'll get to that. Okay, facts you may not know. Fully optimized lists are a must for low ACoS. I've got a video on that, which I haven't added, but really, if you have an under-optimized listing, that's one of the biggest problems with PPC. People think that PPC is the panacea for everything. It's not. If you have a rubbish listing, basically, you'll get rubbish PPC, because if your organic sales are poor, generally your PPC sales are poor. So things like images, videos, EBC, very good for high conversion. Check if your keywords are indexed. That's very important and obvious as well. If you lose indexing, then your keywords will not show. Basically, will not show, and therefore you won't get sales for those keywords. SP suggested keywords are a gold mine. We found that for immediate sales. Amazon gives you their own sponsored product suggested keywords, and they are great. They do get you very quick sales. If you don't control them, though, they can give you high ACOS as well. All right, using your brand name in the campaign is very important, because if people know your brand, if you've built your brand, and we always talk about building a brand, if they know your brand, typically they will just, in the search box, they will just put in the brand name, and that will result in immediate sales, high conversion, low ACOS. Yeah, no reviews does mean a higher ACOS. I say it's better to start after one review. This is something that Sean recommends as well. Look, you can definitely start without reviews, but just be aware that your ACOS will be high, okay? Because you're competing with others that have high reviews, high number of reviews. If you have a product that you're launching has no reviews, clearly it's not going to be favoured by most Amazon buyers. So just be aware of that. You can, but you'll have higher ACOS at the start. I'll go to that later, a bit more information. I believe you should never turn off PPC. They definitely helped your ranking of your organic listings. So I believe you should be running PPC campaigns all of the time. Absolutely. Okay, why are brand names important? Well, let's have a look. Use an example of hemp oil in the top half here. If you just put in hemp oil, you get over 9,000 results. 9,000 listings. That's a lot of listings, right? 100 pages of results over. And the keyword bids are pretty high. They're $3 plus. I've seen some as high as $5 for a bid. Terrible. If you pick a brand name, let's say this brand here, Sunset Hemp Oil, well, guess what? You only get 275 results. Okay, obviously yours and your listing, and some competitors who will be bidding for your keyword as well. Obviously, when people know your brand, they're going to click on your brand. They're going to go to your brand. The bids are low, and it's high conversion. That's an obvious thing. So brand name PPC campaigns is definitely a great way to go. How do we stay ahead of the game? Two biggest mistakes Amazon sellers make are: one, not enough PPC keyword research, and two, not enough real estate. That is, setting up campaigns to cover all areas of the PPC of the Amazon pages and dominate the Amazon pages. So for the first bit, it's very important that you get as many keywords as possible. We have this saying, no keyword is left unturned, like no stone is left unturned. So no keyword is left unturned, okay? So we use things like the Amazon Customer Search Term Keyword Report, vital to get our crushes. The Amazon SP Suggested, as I mentioned, brand analytics is beautiful. Helium 10 Cerebro is wonderful. Merchant words, competitor top search keywords, gold panning, which are low bids and single keywords. And of course, for the holidays, the special holiday keyword research terms, very important. And with the real estate, as I mentioned, headline ads are brilliant. Can add up to 20% of sales revenue. Product targeting is also great, can add up to 10% of sales revenue. And auto targeting, where you have a cascading effect of a high bid, mid bid, and low bid, are brilliant as well. So definitely ASIN targeting, headline ads, and enhanced SP auto targeting are all very good ways to dominate the real estate. Okay, 3 categories from hell. It's a terrible term. I'm sorry if that offends anyone saying it's from hell, but you know what I mean, right? They're difficult, very difficult categories. Number 1 is supplements, probably by a mile. So saturated, so competitive. A lot of PPC experts will not touch supplements. They will not. If you have a supplements category, product in the supplements category, they will not take on your campaigns. I'm telling you now. We do take them on. We've had mixed success. We've had some great success with some products, others not so good. It's a tough category, and it comes down to need to have an optimized listing, and you need to be different to the others. Similarly with pet supplies and even pet supply supplements, very, very competitive. Number 3, beauty baby. I couldn't decide which was worse. Some are terrible. They're both very competitive. But if you offer something different, then you do have more of a chance. But generally they are saturated, very competitive. Cost per click can be I've seen as high as $10 or more. There was a pet supply supplement. My goodness. In fact, I think we'll go into about $20 a click for a $60 product. So yeah, that makes life very hard. So all we say is, avoid these. You've got to be prepared to do other things outside of PPC if you want to be successful in these markets. Obviously, social media is very important, trademarking, making sure you're brand registered, all of those things to drive traffic outside of Amazon into Amazon. For example, we knew one guy who had pet supply supplements. He was spending $12,000 per day on Google ads and Facebook ads. $12,000 per day for this one product. Okay, pet supply supplement. So that's what you need to do, basically. Okay, moving on. All right, how to put you in the top 1% of Amazon PPC management? Well, you segment. We have a naming structure that uses the SKU, campaign type, date, and initial. We scale, and by the way, the reason for that is that you can actually trace your campaigns better. Putting in just something like, supplement one or something is no good. You need to know the SKU, you need to know the campaign type, and you need to have the date that you did it with and who did it as well. Number 2, scaling. We don't use Campaign Manager. What does that mean? It means that we use something else called bulk files. The reason you don't always use Campaign Manager, especially for customer search terms, is because you are limited with the number of keywords. It's all manual, can't be reversed, and it's very difficult to manage many campaigns. So bulk files are the way to do it, and this is something that's again recommended by the wonderful course from Sean Smith. Using bulk files that uses Excel spreadsheets. You can you can create multiple campaigns in minutes, you can change them, and you can be a strategic bidder. You don't always have to be the highest bidder to be the most successful. Relevancy is very, very important with your keywords. So you can be very strategic using this method. So we follow that. Negative keyword bid versus bid optimization. This is a contentious topic. We tend to not apply negative keywords. We have in some rare cases where they've been bleeding badly, but a lot of PPC gurus tell you to negative keyword match exact. We don't, and the reason is that if you do that, no doubt that you will definitely reduce the potential opportunity for sales. I have the example of the word candle. Definitely can bleed a lot of dollars, but if you apply it as a negative keyword, you can also cut many sales for other things like scented candle and so on. Sure, you can do it as an exact, just a risky game you're playing, and more likelihood that you're going to reduce your opportunity for sales. So as a rule, no, we don't do it. Also difficult to scale because you have to monitor every campaign. We're talking bulk campaigns, sometimes 1,000 or more campaigns we might be using. Very hard to scale that. And it's all about scaling, isn't it? You've got to do that. You've got to grow. You've got to create more campaigns. That's the way to do it. Bid optimization gives you more control. So we do optimize bids, most definitely. And bid optimization allows you to include a maximum number of keywords at various bid levels. So negative exact match is the only one we do. We've done it on a few occasions when the client insists. Our services, we do a free PPC audit and product audit. We do free sales forecast, and we also do a competitive keyword analysis as well, part of our service. So that's something that we do. We do a daily operation. We would check all the keywords in the title and in the back end, make sure they're indexed. We optimize your current campaigns. We don't close them. And we set up new campaigns for you, and we do daily monitoring of target ACOS, PPC spend and sales. And we generally create new campaigns weekly, and we prepare weekly reports as well. As mentioned, we use bulk files, and we use deduplication so that you're only adding unique keywords to new campaigns. So this avoids wasted money. Basically, if you have the same keyword, say scented candle, exact, say, in multiple campaigns, you're basically wasting money. It's not going to increase your sales overall. You might get more PPC sales, you might, but your organic sales generally don't increase. So you're spending a lot of money for nothing. I copied this one from Sean, good old Sean. Campaign manager is like riding a bike, whereas bulk operations is like having a Ferrari. So what we do is, that's what it means, is that we actually use these bulk files to get unique keywords by deduplicating. So you're only adding, let's say you do a new campaign every week, you're only adding unique keywords to new campaigns. So you're adding more and more keywords. Techniques to control PPC costs, obviously cutting bleeding keywords. We work on 12.5% conversion rate. That is after 8 clicks. If you don't get an order, we'll reduce that bid by about 25%. And we cut those bleeders once or twice a week, depending on how bad the ACOS is. Obviously, a higher selling price means a lower ACOS as well. And lower cost per click is obviously lower ACOS as well. Okay, so part of the course is that we have this wonderful software that Sean provides called PPC Agility Software, which does a great job in managing bids and cutting bleeders. Really good job. It's a great bit of software. I won't go into the details of it, but that's basically it. Why is low ACOS so important? Because nobody complains about low ACOS, and it's true. Look, ACOS isn't everything, especially at the start. People forget when you're starting, it's all about ranking, rank. Please don't even worry about ACOS too much in the first month, honestly, when you're launching a new product, in my opinion. But obviously, once you're optimized, you want low ACOS, and that is important. And I'll go to that in a minute. Some of the results, here we go. This one here, I think this is my own TNH account. When we started the PPC method used by Sean Smith, we basically trebled sales. In fact, we more than trebled sales. And ACOS pretty well held okay at about 24% or something. And that happened over about 5 months. So that was good. Tripled sales, no rise after 7 months. There you go. This one here is another customer. We had a great job here. We increased sales by 35k a month, and we reduced their ACOS significantly, half the ACOS. So that was brilliant. Another one, we increased here the sales by 19k a month and reduced ACOS from 76% to 27% in 3 months. So it's pretty marvelous, absolutely marvelous. There are a lot of tips, and I've actually done a separate video on some of these tips. Basically, pretty much what I've talked about so far, and obviously some of the mistakes as well. Some of the tasks that we do daily. We always check the campaign status if they're ineligible or you don't have the buy box. Very important. No buy box means no PPC. We always check what's out of budget and see whether that needs to be reviewed. We have a look at the ACOS daily, and we run the agility software if the ACOS is too high. We also do weekly work, which is based on impressions, click-through rate, ACOS, clicks and orders, and adding new campaigns as required, plus running agility once or twice a week. Red flags, low conversion rate, low click-through rate, high cost per click. Absolutely. And this thing here is what I was talking about, the different phases of PPC. When you're launching a new product, it's hard to make money, and you actually should be more focused on ranking than actually trying to make a profit. And that's the truth. When you're launching, it's all about ranking and getting to page 1. So we do different campaigns for different phases of PPC. All right, and we'll go through some of that later, but these are some of the campaigns we do. Then once you've done that, you start targeting, you start to apply your crushes. Usually after you have 1 or 2 reviews, start applying your crushes and mysteries and product targeting, headline ads and so on. And then you start to scale, optimize and scale. So you start to increase your profitability. I'll leave it at that. This is some other work that we did. But look, guys, thank you so much for that. I just wanted to give you a brief view of of some of the work that we're doing here at Bilzar, and I hope that helps. If you actually want a copy of this presentation, most welcome. Let me know and I'll copy it to you or send it to you. Okay, thanks for your time, guys. Bye.